Shivananda Lahiri, Shloka number 31. नालं वा परमोपकारकमिदं त्वेकं पशूनां पते पश्यन् कुक्षिगतान् चराचरगणान् बाह्यस्थितान् रक्षितुं सर्वामर्त्यपलायनौषधमतिज्वालाकरं भीकरं निक्षिप्तं गरलं गले न गिलितं नोद्गीर्णमेव त्वया. अन्वय. हे पशूनां पते कुक्षिगतान् चराचरगणान् बाह्यस्थितान् रक्षितुं पश्यन् त्वया अतिज्वालाकरं भीकरं गरलं सर्वामर्त्यपलायनौषधं गले निक्षिप्तं न गिलितं न उद्गीर्णम् एव एकं परमोपकारकं न अलं वा idam. So, in the previous shloka, a person of what stature can offer puja to Parameshwara was mentioned. Now in this shloka, Sri Shankara explains the extraordinary powers of Parameshwara which surpasses all the other devatas. Pashunam pate, O Lord of all the Jivatmas. The meaning explained for Pashupate, that same meaning is for this also. That is, Pashunam Pate also has the same meaning, but there is a subtle difference because here it has been split and said Pashunam Pate. So, this will get the meaning of Pashunam, for all the beings, Pate, the Lord. So, naturally, the Lord is expected to be the protector also for all the beings. This subtle difference you will find when you try to understand the meaning of compound words, and when the same compound word is split and given, then there is a slight variation. Kukshigatana, those who are in your stomach. Charachara ganana, chara, the moving, achara, the immovable, that is sthavara, those which are stationary, and jangama, those which move. Ganana, such groups. In other words, the groups of movable and immovable beings who are in your stomach. And then bahyasthitana, also the groups of those movable and immovable beings which are outside. Rakshitum, in protecting them, that is blessing all of them with fearlessness. Pashyan, thinking about it, and tvaya, by you, that is by you Paramashiva, atijwalakaram, that which causes severe heat, bhikaram, creating fear, garalam, the poison known as kalakota visha, sarvamartya palayanaushadham, that kalakota visha which was so frightening that even the devatas who in fact do not have any death, they were also caused to run out of fear. The significance here is those devatas who were running out of fear for that disease called running, this kalakota visha was like a medicine. Now, in other words, for the services yet to be offered to Paramashiva, this running called disease had medicinal effect in that kalakota visha. Now, such a poison, gale, in the throat, nikshiptam, was retained. Na gilitam, that poison was not swallowed. And also, na udgirnam eva, it was not vomited out also. This kind of ekam, only one, Paramopakarakam, an incredible blessing which was bestowed, idam, this one matter itself, that is, to know your greatness, this one incident or matter itself, na alam va, isn't it enough? Here, alam gives the meaning of enough. The way you swallowed such poisonous substance itself is indicative of your supreme stature. If that poison were to be swallowed completely, then it would reach the stomach and all the beings, charachara ganaha, in your stomach will be destroyed, isn't it? On the other hand, if the same poison were to be vomited out, then the charachara ganas, the beings in the external world, would be destroyed. With such a kind feeling, Paramashiva neither swallowed nor spat it out, but he retained the poison in his throat or neck region. This kind of immense capacity can be seen only in Lord Paramashiva, not in any other Devata. This shloka has the story of Ksheera Milky Ocean also inbuilt here. That is the place of rest for Mahavishnu. About this Ksheera episode, a great poet has written a poem. क्षीराब्धेर्मथ्यमानात् यदजनि विषमं दुर्धरं कालकूटं दृष्ट्वा त्रस्ताः समस्ताः त्रिभुवनपतयः दह्यमानं विदित्वा धत्ते कण्ठे महेशः जगद् उपकृतये हन्तः नो चेत् तदानीं क्व मेन्द्रो विष्णुः वा वेदाः क्व च विबुधाः जङ्गमा जङ्गमं त्वा. Ksheerabdhehe, the milky ocean, Mathyamanate, on being churned, yet that which Durdharam Kalakutam Vishamam Ajani, that which it brought out, causing fear to all, the poison Kalakuta, Drishtva, on seeing that, Dahyamanam, burning the Jagat, universe itself, Viditva, and knowing which, Samastaha Tribhuvanapatayaha Trastaha, all the devas, even lords of the three worlds, were frightened seeing that, and Hanta, at that time, Maheshaha, Lord Paramashiva, Jagad Upakritaye, wishing to offer help and protect the universe, Jagat, Kanthe Dhatte, kept that poison in the neck region itself. No chet, if he Paramashiva had not done that, Tadanim, at that right time, in that situation, if he did not instantly make such a wonderful decision, then Indraha Kva, where would Indra be? Vishnuhu Kva, where would Vishnu be? Vedaha Kva, where would Brahma be? Vibudhaganaha Kva, the group of devatas, where would they be? Jangama Jangamam Kva, where would the movable and immovable beings be? Only Parameshwara exists as a true Paropakari, that is, without having any desire for himself, he exists only to always help and bless the beings. There is a saying, Upakarishu yas sadhuhu sadhutve tasya ko gunaha apakarishu yas sadhuhu sa sadhuriti kathyate. It is not a significant matter when one helps another who has already helped. But when one helps even a selfish enemy, then that calls for appreciation. That is truly service. In this context, Devatas are those who help because they have received something from the devotee. But Lord Shiva is an embodiment of compassion, so he helps unconditionally. His nature is incomparable. explanation for this verse is concluded here. Shivananda Lahiri, shloka number 32. ज्वालोग्रः सकलामरातिभयदः क्ष्वेलः कथं वा त्वया दृष्टः किञ्च करे धृतः करतले किं पक्वजम्बूफलम् जिह्वायां निहितश्च सिद्धगुटिका वा कण्ठदेशे भृतः किन्ते नीलमणिर्विभूषणमयं शम्भो महात्मन् वद. अन्वय. हे महात्मन्, ज्वालोग्रः सकलामरातिभयदः क्ष्वेलः त्वया कथं दृष्टः किञ्च करे धृतः च करतले निहितः पक्वजम्बूफलं किं जिह्वायां निहितः सिद्धगुटिका वा कण्ठदेशे भृतः अयं ते नीलमणिः भूषणं किं वद. The power and supremacy of Parameshwara, surpassing all the Devatas, was mentioned in the previous shloka. Then the most dreadful Kalakuta poison consumed by Parameshwara with the intention of saving all the living beings expressed his compassionate nature. Now, what happened to that poison, how Parameshwara might have perceived it, is explained in this verse 32. Hey Mahatman, O Lord, you who are not limited by time, space and object, that is, you are Sarvajna, all-knower. Jwalograha, the flames spreading everywhere which is impossible to withstand. Sakalamarati bhayadaha, that which caused terrible fear even among all the immortal celestials. Kshvelaha, that poison. Tvaya, by you. Katham, how. Drishtaha, was it looked at? That is, how did you perceive it? Or what did that poison appear like to you? Because kincha, and then that poison, kare dhritaha, was held in your hands. Cha, and also karatale, in the palm. Nihitaha, it was kept. Pakwa jambu phalam kim, did you think that it was a very well ripened jamun fruit, is it? Or that poison which was kept in your palm, after that jihvayam, in the tongue, nihitaha, it was kept. Then when kept on the tongue, siddha ghutikava, did you think that it was a tablet which is capable of giving all the siddhis, powers, is it? And then after that, kantha deshe bhritaha, you held it in your throat region. Then I am that poison. Te, to you, neela manihi, it was like a blue gem. Bhushanam kim, ornament of decoration, is it? Vada, please tell. The terrible poison which caused fear in everyone, even the Devatas, and made them run for their life, Paramashiva held it in his palm and then placed it in his tongue, and then it became like an ornament of his neck region. This same incident is pictured variedly by Sri Shankara, and he asks, O Lord Shiva, you held the poison first in your hand. You looked at it like as though it was a well ripened jamun fruit, and then that's why you placed that fruit on your tongue, is it? Or when you placed it on your tongue, did you think it was a tablet which will give you more powers, and therefore placed it on your tongue? Having done that, It appears like an ornament on your neck. So, in which of these ways did you look at the poison? Please tell. This is a beautiful devotional expression coming from Sri Shankara. Lord Shiva's greatness has been wonderfully described in this verse. By mentioning Lord Shiva's effortless consumption of the terrible poison, Sri Shankara is actually pointing out the value of compassion towards the jivas which is inherent in Parameshwara. The Lokopakaraka guna, that is the nature to unconditionally help the jivatmas in Parameshwara, is praised with utmost devotion here. Since the poison was neither swallowed nor vomited out, but restrained and kept in the throat, Parameshwara came to be popularly known by the name Sri Kantaha. In this word, Sri Kantaha, Sri means poison or Visha. Shrunati hinasti iti Srihi. One who has that poison in his neck, he is called Sri Kantaha. So, when we want to pray, we should pray only to that great Sri Kantaha, Parameshwara, and not any other Devata. This same matter has been mentioned by the scholar writer Sri Neelakantha Dikshitah as Drishtva Kaustubham Apsaro Ganamapi Prakrantavada Mitah Girvanah Kativana Santi Bhuvane Bhara Divah Kevalam Nishkrante Garale Drute Suragane Nischeshtite Vishtape Ma Bhaishteti Giravirasa Dhuriyo Devah Tamevastumaha. This meaning of this verse is Kaustubham Apsaro Ganamapi Drishtva. During the churning of the ocean, when that gem Kaustuba came out and then many Apsara women also came out of it, seeing all of that, the Devas, Girvanaha, Prakranta Vadaha Mitah, they had mutual discussion and argument. I want this, I want that, iti, they told each other. Then, in other words, the Devas were very excited to partake everything that was coming out till now from the ocean. After that, Devataha Bhuvane Kativana Santi, says the author. That is, such celestials in this world who want to partake of good things. How many are not there? Means there are many of this kind. They are common. But they are all Kevalam Divaha Bhara. They are all just adding weight to the heavenly world. When Garale Nishkrante, the terrible poison started to flow out from the ocean, Suragane Drute, the Devata started to run away fast. And then Vishtape, the complete heavenly region, Nischeshtite, became inactive as though unconscious. Then at that time, Ma Bhaishtha iti, don't be frightened with such gira words being told. Dhuri avirasa yaha devaha, the Lord who came forward manifesting his form into everyone's direct vision, that great Lord alone, Tameva Stumaha, let us pray to. When we are in difficulty, let us pray to only that great Lord who comes to our help when we are in need, that Parameshwara. Neelakantha Vijaya Champu is a beautiful composition written by Sri Neelakantha Dikshitah. In that treatise, this particular beautiful description has been mentioned. Thus, we get to know clearly that true greatness lies not in all the Devatas but only in Parameshwara, Shambho, Shiva. Explanation for this verse is concluded here. Shivananda Lahiri, Shloka number 33. नालं वासकृदेव देव भवतः सेवा नतेर्वा नुतिः पूजा वा स्मरणं कथाश्रवणमप्यालोकनं मादृशाम् स्वामिन्नस्थिरदेवतानुसरणायासेन किं लभ्यते का वा मुक्तिरितः कुतो भवति चेत् किं प्रार्थनीयं तदा अन्वय हे स्वामिन् हे देव भवतः सकृदेव सेवा नतिः वा नुतिः पूजा वा स्मरणं कथाश्रवणम् अपि आलोकनं मादृशाम् अलं न वा इतः मुक्तिः का वा कुतः भवति इति चेत् तदा अस्थिर देवता अनुसरण आयासेन किं लभ्यते प्रार्थनीयं किम् When people are in great trouble and they lose hope, Parameshwara comes and says, I am here to protect you. Do not give up in fear or run away frightened. Such is the nature inherent in Parameshwara, and this greatness was mentioned in the previous shloka. Overlooking such unconditionally compassionate form of Parameshwara, praying to other devatas is only a waste of energy. This is substantiated in this verse. Hey Swamin, O Lord of all the worlds. Now, because He is the Lord of all the worlds, He is bearing the responsibility of protecting all the beings. Oh, such a great Lord, Paramashiva. Hey Deva, oh the self-effulgent Lord, that is, He does not depend on another source to be made visible to us. He is self-revealing. Therefore, He is addressed as Deva. Then, Bhavataha, to you, Sakrit, done just once, Seva, that service, or may it be Natihi va, in the form of prostrations, that is, offering namaskara with the external body, Kayikam namaskaraha, or Nutihi va, in the form of verses praising you, that is, worship using the organ of speech, or puja va, may it be in the form of ritual worship, then smaranam, thinking of you, contemplating on your beautiful form. This is mental prayer or internal worship. Katha Shravanam api, maybe listening to your glories mentioned in the Puranas, then this is offering worship using the hearing faculty. Also, Alokanam, beholding your beautiful form in sight, that is, offering worship using the eyes. Like this, offering any one form of worship mentioned till now. Madrisham, in matters pertaining to people like me, giving mukti, liberation from samsara, alam nava, not enough, is it? That is, whether worship is done in any one form, just once, maybe doing namaskara to you, singing your glories, or continuously listening to your greatness, contemplating on you, or even just looking at your beautiful form, then liberation is sure to be attained by me. Itaha, other than all these forms of worship, muktihi kava, what else could liberation be? That means nothing else can be liberation. Now, this being so, all the methods of worship mentioned so far, any one of them, maybe smaranam, katha shravanam, namaskaraha, alokanam, any one of these methods, bhavati iti chet, if one gets liberated, then तदा अस्थिर देवता अनुसरण आयासेन. They themselves are not stable. Asthira devata, such devatas, anusarana, when they are worshipped, ayasena, then with all that effort, kim labhyate, what only will one gain? That is, worshipping such unstable devatas who have very limited powers, one will only get exhausted and actually gain nothing. This being the reality, from them prarthaniyam kim, what is to be prayed for, or what should we seek from them? If they were, that is, those devatas were themselves stable and sure, then only they can bless the devotee with the liberation which is eternal. So, may it be physical namaskara or stuti, kathashravanam or alokanam, when it is done with complete trust, shraddha and devotion, bhakti, just once to Parameshwara, it will undoubtedly bless us with mukti. If our seeking is only temporary benefits, then we can worship the asthira devataha. But if we seek nitya mukti, eternal liberation, as goal of life, then only the sthira shashvata Parameshwara should be worshipped. Sri Shankara has used in this verse the word sakrit, which means just once. The significance is like this: it implies the attitude with which we offer worship. That is, the mind should be completely dedicated and surrendered. Explanation for this verse is concluded here. Shivananda Lahiri, Shloka number 34. किं ब्रूमस्तव साहसं पशुपते, कस्यास्ति शम्भो भवद्धैर्यं चेदृशम् आत्मनस्थितिरियं चान्यैः कथं लभ्यते. भ्रश्यद्देवगणं त्रसन्मुनिगणं, नश्यत्प्रपञ्चं लयं, पश्यन्निर्भयः एक एव विहरत्यानन्द सान्द्रो भवान्. In the previous shloka, we saw that worshipping Parameshwara in any one form, that is, may it be namaskara, stuti, puja, smaranam, katha shravanam or alokanam, and that too just once, done with shraddha and bhakti, then the benefit will be nitya paramananda muktihi. Therefore, worshipping the devatas with asthira bhava, limited powers, is a waste of energy, because after all the effort, that nitya mukti cannot be obtained. There is a saying in Sanskrita, Swayam Tirnaha Paran Tarayati. Only the one who has crossed over the river will be able to help another to cross over. Here in this context, only one who is himself Nitya Paramananda Mukti Swarupa can bless the seeker with the same. Asthira Devatas therefore cannot give Nitya Paramananda Mukti is the essence. Now, this Sthira Nitya Mukti, is it there in Paramashiva? If yes, how do we get to know about it? This is the structure of this Shloka 34 by Sri Shankara. Now we will see the Anvaya of the Shloka and then go to the word meaning. He Pashupate, He Shambho, Tava Sahasam Kim Brumaha, Idrisham Bhavadhairyam, Kasya Asti, Iyam Atmanaha Sthitihi cha Anyaihi Katham Labhyate. आनन्दसान्द्रः भवान् भ्रश्यद्देवगणं त्रसन्मुनिगणं नश्यत्प्रपञ्चं लयं पश्यन् निर्भयः एकः एव विहरति. हे पशुपते, O Lord and protector of all living beings, Shambho, Lord, you who give only happiness, Tava, your sahasam, that courage, that is the capacity to do that which is impossible to be done by all others. Kim Brumaha, about such courage and bravery of yours, what can we say? Idrisham, this kind of, that is the courage which will be spoken about, Bhavad Dhairyam, that bravery which you have, Kasya Asti, who else has? Yam, this, Atmanaha Sthitihi Cha, you present and existing in this form. Anyaihi, by others, Katham, how only Labhyate will they attain? That is, no one else can be in the form that you exist. So, your courage is not present in anyone else. What is that form of yours? It is Ananda Sandraha, a form of supreme bliss. Bhavan, that you, during the time of cosmic dissolution, Bhrashya Devaganam, the group of devatas who abandon their abode and run elsewhere, Trasan Muniganam, the group of sages also who are frightened, Nashyat Prapancham, all the world which is visible directly, seeing that getting destroyed, Layam, everything being dissolved, such a state of annihilation, Pashyan, seeing, or you who are witnessing, Nirbhayaha, you are seen to be completely without fear and unmoved. Ekah eva, and that you, fearless, one alone, viharati, remain in the state of bliss. This fearlessly sporting in bliss is possible only for you. It cannot be seen in anyone else. At the time of cosmic dissolution, all the devatas leave their abode, losing their status. Then the sages are also struck with fear. Witnessing that terrible universal dissolution, only you, Paramashiva, continue to remain fearless because your form itself is that of exalted absolute bliss. Now, this kind of bravery and courage is seen to be expressed only by you alone. It is impossible for anyone else to show this courage. At the time of universal annihilation, that is Mahapralaya, everyone and everything is subject to destruction except Paramashiva alone. This incident has been mentioned only to point out that it is Paramashiva who is eternal. He transcends all the states of existence. That is, he exists before dissolution, through the dissolution witnessing it, and through the next creation, sustenance, and so on. Here, only the state of cosmic dissolution is mentioned because during creation and sustenance, the devatas and sages remain unaffected. But the cosmic dissolution is a time when even the devatas and sages are struck with fear, but only Paramashiva remains in his blissful form unchanged. So, praying to such a form of unchanging blissful existence, Paramashiva will bestow the status of eternal bliss, Nitya Muktihi. This same matter we saw in Saundarya Lahari Shloka number 26. Just recalling that, Virinchihi Panchatvam Rajati, Harihi Apnoti Viratim, Vinasham Kinashaha Bhajati. धनदः याति निधनं वितन्द्री माहेन्द्री विततिः अपि सम्मीलितदृशा महासंहारे अस्मिन् विहरति सति त्वत्पतिः असौ. Brahma, Vishnu, Yama, Kubera, and all wealth is subject to destruction. But during such terrifying cosmic dissolution, O Parvati, only your husband remains happily in his own form of absolute bliss. Now, here it is to be noted that this word Viharati, which means happily remains, this word is mentioned in both these verses. In the inert form or inactive form, that which is called Parabrahman, a personified form of that Parabrahman is known as Sadashiva. Seers refer to that Sadashiva as Ishvara also. When desire arises in Parabrahman, the same desire manifests from Parabrahman in the form of Shakti. In other words, it is Parabrahman's desire personified as Shakti. And then the same Shakti is known by the words Pradhana, Prakriti, Maya, Gunatraya Yukta, that is embodiment of the three gunas Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Then Buddhihi, Ambika, Sakaleshwari and so on. That Shakti of Parabrahman is also known as Mata, mother of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the Trinity. She is Nitya, eternal, and she is the rudimentary cause for all existence. So, it is that Sadashiva, also known by the names Ishvara, Paramapurusha, Shiva, Shambhu, and he is said to be the causeless cause of everything. When he takes a bodily form, then that personified Shiva is visualized with Ganga Devi adorning the tresses on his head, the crescent moon shining as an ornament decorating the tresses. He has 5 faces. The forehead shines with 3 eyes. He has 10 hands, holds the trident in one hand. He has a body with the complexion of bright camphor, and the whole body is covered with ashes. Now, this body form is envisioned for the purpose of meditation on Parabrahman. Explanation for this verse is concluded here. Shivananda Lahiri, Shloka number 35. योगक्षेमधुरन्धरस्य सकलश्रेयःप्रदोद्योगिनो दृष्टादृष्टमतोपदेशकृतिनो बाह्यान्तरव्यापिनः सर्वज्ञस्य दयाकरस्य भवतः किं वेदितव्यं मया शम्भो त्वं परमान्तरङ्ग इति मे चित्ते स्मराम्यन्वहम्. Parameshwara is in the form of Ananda. Because he is Ananda Swarupa, he can bless us with Ananda. So that Parameshwara is the only one who is very close to us. This is the message Sri Shankara gives us in this verse. Anvaya, He Shambho, Yogakshema Dhurandharasya Sakala Shreya Pada Udyoginah Drishta Adrishta Matopadesha Kritinah Bahyantara Vyapinah Sarvajnasya Dayakarasya Bhavatah Maya Veditavyam Kim Tvam Me Paramantarangah iti Anvaham Chitte Smarami. So, Shankara addresses the Lord as Hey Shambho, O Lord, you who give us only happiness. Yogakshema Dhurandharasya. Then Ishvara is described as one who bears the responsibility of giving us what we seek and then ensuring that we retain the appropriate things that we have gained. In other words, yoga means alabdhasya labhaha. When we get what we have not had so far, because that object has been very rare and difficult to obtain, then it is called yoga. Labdhasya paripalanam is kshemaha. That is, once we have gained that rare, difficult object, taking care of it and ensuring that it is not destroyed is called kshemaha. We who have now obtained that Shiva Bhakti which we did not have earlier, and therefore it was alabdha. Now that we have obtained, it is labdha. Such a Shiva Bhakti which is now labdha is yoga, ensuring it does not diminish but continues to stay in us is labdhasya rakshanam, that is kshemaha. This yoga and kshema can be bestowed on us only by Parameshwara. Therefore, Sri Shankara refers to Lord Parameshwara as one who bears the responsibility of yoga and kshema. Yoga kshema dhurandharasya. Then another description of Bhagavan is Sakala Shreya Pradodyoginaha, one who is continuously engaged in conferring all the appropriate objects and situations conducive to upliftment of oneself from samsara and then helping them travel towards moksha. This is Shreyas. Then Drishtadrishtamatopadesha Kritinaha. Drishta means the benefits enjoyed while still existing in this transactional world. That is Laukika Karma Phala. Then Adrishta is the phala or benefit which will be reaped at a later time, maybe in the next life. Both these benefits, Drishta Phala and Adrishta Phala, in making us know the means or methods to obtain both these benefits. One who is good at, in other words, he who has the powers to teach how to live a lifestyle happily while we are still in this body. And then, now itself, what should we do to obtain a better world after death of this body? Then, Parameshwara is explained as Bahyantara Vyapinaha. Bahya means externally, Antara means internally, Vyapinaha, pervading everywhere. That is, one who, being the indweller of all living beings, and at the same time, one who pervades the external world also. In other words, omnipresent. Then Sarvajnasya, knower of all things. Dayakarasya, form of kindness or all compassionate form. Bhavataha, that you, Maya, by me, Veditavyam, to be made known, or that which is to be told to you. Kim, what is there? Tvam, you, may, of that me, Paramantarangaha, are very close to and dearest. Iti, thus, Anvaham, each and every day I, Chitte, in my mind, Smarami, think about. Always remembering that you, Parameshwara, are closest to me, will bless me with Shreyas. The word prayas implies ignorance or ajnana, that is, dwelling on worldly objects and then spending time in fulfilling those worldly objects, thinking that this world is the absolute truth. This is called prayas. Then Shreyas, implies knowledge, which will lead to moksha. Moksha means liberation from samsara. Now, this is the ultimate purpose of living. One who bestows this is Shambhu. Such a great Shambhu has been described with two more distinct attributes. Bahyantara Vyapinaha. He is the one pervading our inner self and the external situation around us, everything around us. So, there is no place where he is not present. Therefore, saying that he is all pervading means he must be within me also, which gives the meaning of he is the indweller, Antaratma of all of us. Naturally, we who love ourselves, knowingly or unknowingly, are in fact loving that Parameshwara. Naturally, he is the closest to us, Parama Aptaha. Another description is there remains nothing to be said to him because he is Sarvagnya, all knower. So, when we address him as Sarvagnya, we perceive that we have nothing to tell him because he anyway knows everything. If we think that we have to tell him something, then we will be looking upon Parameshwara as Alpagnya. That is a form of injustice to the all knower. Now, this feeling is expressed by Sri Shankara when he says, there is nothing that I have to tell you because you are within me itself. Now, you will know everything. That is why you are my Parama Apta, closest and dearest. Then the word Drishtadrishtamato Kritinaha also gives a very significant meaning. While we are living in this body, we wish to live in harmony. Now, a lifestyle to obtain this harmony, methodology for that is taught by him, Parameshwara. And the same hallmark teacher, Parameshwara, shows the way to obtain moksha even after dropping this body. That is, after death also. So, both in worldly life and afterlife, Parameshwara is the teacher showing the right path. With this, explanation for this verse is concluded.